Financial report. It came through the email. May 4th.
May 11th.
Okay. All right, everyone. Welcome. It's 5:30. We will begin. This is the regular meeting of this Board of Mayor and Selectmen, March 13th, 2018. I remind everyone, please, silence, turn off all cell phone devices. I would appreciate that. And I'd like to begin with prayer. Would you please bow your heads? Most gracious Heavenly Father, we're thankful this day and all the many blessings, the beautiful blue sky and the feeling of about driving about the city and seeing springtime in the air with blooming azaleas and the city of McComb pretty as ever. Father, we thank you for this board and their participation and belief in the city, and we ask that you guide each and every one of us as we conduct the affairs of the city. Look over our employees and as they perform their job for our citizens. Father, we pray for your continued blessings in all things. In Jesus' name we pray this tonight. Amen. We have City Attorney Dowdy in conference via conference call. Selectman Cameron is due to call in. Selectman Cameron, you here, sir? So he may call in. So at this particular point in time, do we have a quorum now? Yes. Okay. All right. Before you have the consent docket agenda. And without objection, I would ask you to consider the consent docket. Any objection? No. Then, without objection, the consent docket has been approved. The next item would be item number 3. Consider receiving comments from Calvin Phelps regarding McComb Music and Heritage Festival. Ms. Phelps, 3 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Board, and thank you, Mayor. I'd like to let you know about the McComb Music and Heritage Festival that's happening this year on April 27th and 28th. The McComb Music and Heritage Festival will be a fun-filled 2-day event taking place at various venues around downtown McComb, including Palace Theater, St. Andrew's Mission, State Street Theater, Pike County Little Theater, Big Daddy's Blues Club and Cultural Exchange, and many more locations. For this one weekend, downtown McComb will turn into the premier arts and entertainment district in Southwest Mississippi. Friday night, we're going to kick it off with an event at St. Andrew's, a dinner and dancing. Saturday morning, we're going to have a sidewalk parade, but trust us, we are considering the route to go around a block and stay on the sidewalk. We're not asking for any streets to be closed off. It'll be a parade of kids. Scooter the Mouse is going to be involved. Disney characters will be involved. And then throughout the day, the progression of the event will include art exhibits at various locations like Tapasaw, McComb Electric, at St. Andrews as well. We'll be having a pop-up art exhibit. Slifer is going to be letting us use space as well for workshops and art-related events. As we move, there will also be, during that time, musical entertainment on 2 stages at the Palace Theater and at the Big Daddy Blues Club and Cultural Exchange. And we will also, it's going to be a lot going on. It's going to be a really exciting event. The format of this event is a little bit different than the previous year's festivals. We weren't sure whether or not we would have access to the pavilion because of the construction on Railroad Boulevard. So what we tried to do this year is really change it up quite a bit and get as many organizations involved as the McComb Creative Economy Partnership. It's all about partnering, and this year we hope it's going to be sort of like a test of what an arts and entertainment district would be like when we at some point have resort status. And for the city's involvement, we would appreciate, as in years past, if we could have a police presence there, just to be aware that it'll be a really large event, and we would really like to have that presence there. We also are considering placing public porta-johns in a couple of places, near the Palace Theater, for one, since they don't have the restrooms yet. We'd also like to have, if possible, the parking garage available, but also the restrooms at the parking garage available as well. And I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but if there's any questions about the festival, please let me know. Yes, Mr. Welker.
Sergeant Hill.
Along with the bathrooms, will you guys need to, is it all day night event where you need the lights to the parking garage too?
The lights will be great. It's 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. on Saturday. I'm sorry, till 9 p.m. on Saturday. Although it may go to 10. We've booked a band, Lillian Axe. They're a band out of New Orleans, and they've been drawing a lot of attention from outside of McComb, so we're expecting tourists to have come for this event this year as well. They are scheduled from 7:30 till 9:30, but I've heard they play a really long set.
Ms. Phelps, have you reserved the parking garage and pavilion for that weekend?
We're turning in the paperwork for that.
Okay, all right, then I would let, and when you make that request, then you'll tell them about your needs for bathrooms and such as that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Look forward to it.
Great. Thanks.
Then the next item, number 4, I move we consider adopting a resolution for the Pike County Arts Council in support of the Blue Bottle Tree Project. Could I have a motion and a second?
So move a second.
Selectman Tullis made the motion, Selectman Brock for the second. Board, I have a resolution. Pike County Arts Council Community Bottle Tree Project, whereas the primary objective of the Pike County Arts Council is to promote the arts in our community as well as promote the community as a whole. And whereas the Community Bottle Tree Project allows for installations of art in public spaces as well as private property owners. Public art has been proven to benefit communities by bringing people together and encouraging economic development. And whereas the Community Bottle Tree Project will encompass the entire community, including Osaka to the south, North Dixie Springs, and all areas in Pike County, east and west of McComb. The project is open to all government bodies, businesses, schools, organizations, clubs, churches, and individuals. And whereas Eudora Welty described the folklore of the bottle trees as an instrument to capture the devil and other evil spirits before entering a dwelling, or even worse, a soul. The practice of placing bottle trees in yards was not initially intended to be regarded as art. However, the bottle trees, the beautiful bottle trees with their creative variations, soon became thought of as a form of Southern folk art and were eagerly embraced by South art experts, by art experts and the public. And whereas the Pike County Arts Council would like to unite the community by encouraging the placement of bottle trees across the entire community. Bottle trees will make an artistic and bold appearance to stimulate our economy, our community for the better, and send a positive message of a united populace. And whereas the Community Bottle Tree Installation Project launch date is scheduled for Monday, April 16, 2018, it's our hope that many of the bottle trees will begin appearing at one time. Dozens of area businesses have already signed on to display bottle trees in support of the project and the community. And whereas your participation in our project is greatly appreciated, the Arts Council will handle all publicity associated with launching and promoting the Community Bottle Tree Project. And it's this is for us to consider tonight. Without further discussion, all in favor, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Then it concludes now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Whitney Rawlings, on behalf of the Board of Mayor and Selectmen of the City of McComb, do hereby designate April 16, 2018 as Pike County Arts Council Community Bottle Tree Installation Project launch date in the City of McComb, City of Mississippi. This is the 13th day of March, 2018. Very good. Thank you, Board. Thank you, Arts Council. And I've seen them already on Delaware and about town. Very good. Motion did pass. All right. Next item would be, I would move and consider adopting a resolution appointing Brian Boyd as a probationary police officer in the Police Division of the Department of Public Safety, effective March 16, 2018. Motion and a second.
So moved.
Second. Selectman Tullis made the motion, Selectman Brock for the second. Then, I would call on Chief Scott McKenzie. Would you like to introduce Brian Boyd to this forum?
Sure would. Brian Boyd will be coming back to Holmes, back to the McComb Police Department. He was a detective with the police department for a while. 2008, the city of McComb hired Brian and sent him through the academy. And he worked for us until approximately 2013, at which time he decided that maybe being a Pike County Sheriff Deputy would suit him a little better. He did that for a little while and then has ultimately been working in Amen County, Liberty area. He feels like McComb is a place that he needs to come back to. And with your approval tonight, we'll put him back in a uniform and put him back to work quickly.
So he had 5 years of service,
Yes, sir.
training, went to the Sheriff's Department, come back to us as a probationary officer for 1 year?
No, sir. He spent 2008 to 2013 with McComb, and then went to the Sheriff's Office, spent 2, 3, 4 years down there, and then went to work for Liberty Police Department and AMID SO. That's been his most recent places of employment, and McComb is where he wants to come back and finish out his career.
But it says probationary police officer.
He starts over.
Starts over
Starts over as a new probationary officer with the city of McComb
for 1 year.
for 1 more year.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
Okay,
correct.
got it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, further discussion? Board? Vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Congratulations. Brian Boyd, Brian, you want to speak to the city? Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
And he's here with his wife as
Well,
well.
please introduce your wife.
That's my wife, Danielle Boyd.
Hey, Danielle.
Danielle happens to also be a first responder. She works for AAA Ambulance Service.
Okay. Well, Chief Scott McKenzie will take good care of Brian Boyd as he takes care of all officers.
Absolutely.
Thank you for letting him serve. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Thank you, Chief McKenzie. Item number 6, a move to consider receiving check number 1628 in the amount of $100 from Dorothy Etheridge to the McComb Animal Shelter to be deposited in the Fund 001-000346 and increase line item number 001-105770. And further authorize a budget amendment for said amount. These funds are to be used to purchase necessary equipment and supplies from the McComb Animal Shelter only. A motion and a second.
So moved.
Selectman Tullis, Selectman Eubanks for the second. Discussion on item number 6. Vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Item number 7, move to consider approving payment request number 4 from Barry A. Construction in the amount of $339,093.21 for Phase 1 of the milling and overlay project. Need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Selectman Tullis for the motion.
Second.
Selectman Brock for the second. Discussion on item number 7. Selectman Eubanks.
Yes, I'd like to ask, I've been having residents coming up, and I think I spoke to Mr. Lambert about it. As they were grading these streets, they graded down so far that now our citizens are having problems getting into their driveways. They're bottoming out their cars. So either they're not raising it up to where it was, or something's amiss, especially on Locust Street and other streets. When the cars get ready to go in their driveway, they're just bottoming out. And so when they grade it, either grade it down to, I don't know, that's something we need to find out. But I've had numerous complaints about the driveways where they laid this asphalt at. Over time, when we had overlaid before, it was a certain height. So when they came, they stripped it all out and came back, but it came back lower than what it was before. And so now they're, especially on Locust Street, when you got that curve up there, they're just, you can see where their cars are grading trying to come in. One guy, he put boards and bricks up there trying to getting in our driveway. So I need to know what is our responsibility for replacing what we tore up, you know. So that, you know, we need to, sometimes we need to look into. And it's a plethora of people now that are complaining about getting in and out their driveways. And we love the streets, but, you know, they're just getting in, they're having to come in. I ain't one lady, she just goes, come across the sidewalk. She can't get into her own avenue either. So I would like for them to look into that situation.
Did you refer that to Public Works? And, but now Locust Street, was not part of this paving project. This was done, you're speaking of Locust Street, which was done 2010?
Locust Street was done a couple of weeks ago.
Locust Street?
Yes.
The north end of Locust Street. Okay, gotcha. All right. So, gotcha. Okay.
And I was
Just a lot, look at
Locust
that.
Street as a
Yeah.
reference.
Yeah, okay. Got it. Well, anything else on item number 7? Selectman Brock.
To Mr. Lambert, is anything to add on this same subject about the grading?
I think, what Mr. Eubanks is talking about is where the curb is, and we've been looking at that. Now, the house on Avenue E that he mentioned right there at the end, that's one that was done sometime back. It doesn't have the curb there, but it's kind of bucked up. But what he's talking about on Locust Street is where you got the asphalt is actually level with the concrete curb. What happened is that little dip right there, people were going in sometime back and putting in what we refer to as a cattle gap. They would fill the curb in with asphalt and either put a pipe under it or put a piece of 4x4 in the curb, asphalt on both sides of it, and leave that for the drain. We took all those out. It has been the policy of Public Works prior to my getting there that we didn't reinstall cattle gaps, what we refer to them as, because it blocks the curb and doesn't let the water flow as quickly because you got the pipe in there. I told Mr. Eubanks I would talk to the property owners. Haven't gotten there yet. I was out yesterday afternoon and been in meetings a good bit today. But I intend to go by and talk to them and look at it with the engineers to see what else we may can do to fix that. But I don't think it's a question of the asphalt being milled down too low or not being built back up. If the curb was filled back in, I call it the curb, the ditch, what do you want to call it? The little round part right there, half moon shape. If it's filled back in, level out, they get in and out fine. But it's when they go in, that little dip is where they say they're dragging. So I don't know if it's as much the driveway as it is that little curb. So we're going to look at it and see what we can do.
Very good. Anything else on item number 7? Ready to vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. And I know that this milling and overlay project, both phase 1 and 2 are wrapping up. They're on the downhill side of this, and people across the city are real pleased with what has happened here with milling and overlay. So that's a good thing. And I think that you know, what had been the and we're actually going, you know, just milling overlay in prior, you know, coming up to this, our program had been just laying on top, and so the street just kept building up and building up, and so we were at a point where we can't do this. We got to take it back down, and so we're kind of in that transition phase, trying to get back the way it should be. Selectman Kill.
Mr. Chuck Lambert, Public Works Director, voiced this at one point. Did we find out if they're going to continue to mill all the streets that they said that they were going to mill, or they're just going to continue to overlay? I'm glad you said that.
The streets that we were going to mill have been milled. I will tell you this, you may be thinking about McComb Street, where we're looking at the other day, where it was marked.
Yes.
Found out, I didn't think McComb Street was on the list.
Mm-hmm.
They actually had gone in and marked that one through error.
Okay.
And if you'll remember, C.C. Bryant,
Mm-hmm.
they mailed it. That actual marking on McComb Street was supposed to be on C.C. Bryant. We're not really doing anything on McComb Street.
Okay.
The main areas we looked at milling is where you had curb and gutter. Especially, there have been a few others we've milled, but mainly on curb and gutter. But it's my understanding now, everything they were supposed to mill has been milled.
Mm-hmm.
We may have changed one or two from milling and just did an overlay, because we got to looking at it, it didn't need the milling, trying to save a little money. But everything I think has been milled. There may be a couple of spots they're going to go in and not mill the entire road, but they'll mill along the edges and feather it back in.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, sir, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Dowdy, you hearing this okay? Yes. All right. Item number 8, move and consider approving payment request number 2 from Dixon and Bowen in the amount of $338,980.06 for Phase 2 of the milling and overlay project. Motion and a second. Selectman Tullis, Selectman Brock for the second. Discussion on item number 8. Vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Item 9, I move to consider ratifying the mayor's signature on permits to ceasefire to install underground fiber optic cable along North Front Street to 5th Avenue, and further authorize the mayor to execute all necessary documents. Can I have a motion and a second? Selectman Eubanks for the motion.
Second.
Selectman Tullis for the second. Discussion on item number 9. Vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Item number 10, move and consider ratifying the mayor's signature on permits to AT&T to install underground buried cable along Johnson Avenue and St. Augustine Street to Elmwood Street and Argyle Street, and further authorize the mayor to execute all necessary documents. Motion and a second.
So moved.
Selectman Tullis,
Second.
Selectman Brock for the second. Discussion on item number 10. Are you ready to vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Item number 11, move and consider rejecting a bid from Little Dixie Yard Works and re-advertising the bid for lawn maintenance and landscaping services. Need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Selectman Tullis, Selectman Eubanks for the second. City Administrator, this something you got?
Yeah, it was a little high, not too high, I didn't want to go back and redo it.
Okay. So this is the project we advertised for. Bids came in higher than anticipated in the administrator's estimate. We're going again.
Yes, sir.
Okay, with your approval. Selectman Hill.
Well, how much was the lowest bid?
Well, actually, what one bid?
It was one bid.
It was way too high. So we do it. Actually, I think you asked somebody else come in and bid.
They never did.
Can I get a copy of that bid that we're not, we're bidding against, that we are voting against?
Yes, sir.
Further discussion on item number 11. Vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Hope you get a better quote. All right. Item number 12. Move to consider approving travel for Selectman Ronnie Brock to attend the MAPDD conference, April 23rd through the 27th, 2018 in Biloxi, Mississippi. Motion and a second. Selectman Eubanks for the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Selectman Brock for the second. Discussion on item number 12.
I'd like to add my name to that, please.
There's been a motion to amend this item to include adding Selectman Albert Eubanks to attend the MAPDD conference.
Second.
There's a second. So on the amendment, discussion on the amendment. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And we've added Selectman Eubanks to attend. Back to the motion with as amended. Discussion. Vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. I'd entertain a motion to skip item number 13 at the request of Selectman Hill.
So moved.
Without objection, we'll skip item number 13. Any objection? It's skipped. Item 14, move and consider receiving comments from Selectman Hill regarding city rule on employees and campaigning.
Yes, I don't have the exact rule number. I want to say is it 108 or rule number 8. Just wanted to get some information about it and also have the public abreast about exactly what's going on. Had a few employees reach out to me not knowing that this had been our rule or policy for quite some time, concerns about them on their off time when they're not on city hours, doing whatever they want to do because they're not working. They was asking why couldn't they get involved with the campaign, and you know, what was the big uproar now about it. So they wanted to have the public abreast about it, and also myself.
The elections come around every 4 years, and municipal elections come around every 4 years, and employees are reminded every 4 years of this. It's in their policy book that they get when they become an employee of the city, so it's in their personnel manual, and so they knew, they probably just forgot. But the city administrator, you know, his job is to see to it that all policies and procedures of the city are, you know, enforced. And of course, that's what I want as who's supervisor. Just, you know, whatever we got out here, let's enforce it. And so he just reminded the employees of where we are as a city come election time.
What is the legal attorney here? What legally do we have to supervise our workers on their free time? They're not working for the city, they're on their own time, and I need for the attorney to tell us, is that policy correct? Can we now tell our people on their off time that they cannot have a favorite candidate? What is the rule, and is that rule correct, Mr. Bowden?
Mr. Dowdy, did you get that? Speak up louder, please.
All right. I understand the question. There are in place many similar rules and regulations at different levels of government that have to pass regarding federal employees who have the same prohibition generally as are written in the policy and procedure as passed by the city board. These can be changed, what you have in your policy, but as now said, be enforced as written. That is the law of the city of McComb, as enacted previously by one of your predecessor boards of mayor and selectmen. It is the law. I want to remind you that the board of mayor and selectmen can amend, repeal, change, set aside. You have the discretion to do that. And then the only other way it can be changed is for one of the disgruntled workers to file a lawsuit in the court of his or her choice, saying that this interferes with my First Amendment right of speech. And if a judge should hear that, a judge can set it aside. But short of that, the only way that can be changed is for the Board of Mayor and Selectmen of the city of McComb to change or repeal or amend the policy regulations. It's the law of the city, and as written, it must be enforced. Y'all, have you heard, ma'am?
I think so. Yes, sir. Okay. Selectman Hill.
Yes, how far does it go? Cannot campaign, like, does it mean no signs, or they can't talk about it, like, how does the city manage it? How is the city administrative office managing this policy?
Is Selectman Hill's question addressed to me?
No, sir.
He's talking to the city administrator, who is just apprised of the employees of this particular ordinance that we have.
Well, we basically, you know, again, we have not had to face it just yet, but we definitely call on our attorney to help us, you know, with, I guess, the enforcement order.
Is there a specific reason why we hold on to this policy? Is there a legitimate reason why we still are, or why we haven't changed the policy? Because these workers, they work for us, correct? And when they're off, I personally don't feel like we should dictate to them what they can and cannot do, as long as they're not breaking the law of the state and also of McComb, Mississippi. As long as they're not breaking the law or hurting anyone, I don't think that the city should be able to dictate to them what they can and cannot do, especially when they have opportunity to voice their opinion on how they're represented in City Hall. I want to yield to Selectman Brock.
Well, just one second. I would like to take one stab at this, and you know, this is not unique to the city of McComb. You know, cities, sister cities all around the state have similar ordinances, and they're put in place because we are a political body, and this is not, you know, ABC company that is a private enterprise. This is a public body, and when sometimes, and you know, so it really is for the benefit of the employee, and the reason would be that, you know, I'm running for mayor, and I'm running against John Doe for mayor, and you know, one of my department heads, one of the city's department heads is out, you know, actively campaigning for John Doe, and then lo and behold, I get elected mayor, and there is a possibility that, you know, that I may have taken offense to the fact that this guy, this department head was you know, doing this, and you know, I might make it hard on him or something, and not that, but it's a political body, and it's a political question. I just think it's, you know, it's put in place that, look, guys, you just need to stay out of this because politics can, you know, be politics, and that is what this is about, and you know, it's not about silencing. It's really just about the fact of just trying to just eliminate any type of conflict if somebody happens to be on the wrong side, and I think that's the long and the short of it. That's how I view it. Miss Donna Davis, you're our personnel person. You know, you brief our employees every time they come in as a new hire what our policies are. You cover these, and what do you tell them when you come to this?
Well, we don't address every single policy in the policy book, but as Mr. Butler stated, it's election time, and we just want to be sure all of our employees know what the policy is regarding political campaigns.
What is the policy? Can we read the policy?
Sure.
You have that, Ms. Davis?
I do.
Okay.
Number 8.217, taking part in the political management of affairs or in political campaigns other than to cast his or her vote or express privately his or her opinion.
Would you not say that someone at their home, that's the privacy of their home, and they can express their opinion? Because what you just read is just vague, and it can mean anything.
True.
So if I'm having a private conversation, then that policy does not regulate me, correct?
Well, it says taking part in the political management of affairs or in political campaigns other than to cast his or her vote or express privately his or her opinion.
Okay. And them putting a sign that's private to them on their person and in their home, that would be considered private, correct?
Well,
what do you think?
Refer to the attorney to...
Attorney Dowdy.
Yes, sir.
Someone expressing their opinion at their home in their own private property and amongst themselves, would that be considered private?
As written, and
No, that's not the question. The question is, if someone is at their home, in the privacy of their home, on their property, and they decide to express exercise their constitutional right, is that not private amongst them and their family? that wife decides to go out there, who is not an employee of the city, and put a sign in her yard, she's well within her rights, is that correct?
No, sir, I disagree.
So you're saying now that the city government...
Let me answer the question, Selectman Eubanks, please. We can't, he's on the phone.
Okay.
Can't go. Just hold on. Go ahead, Mr. Dowd.
I remember I had that statement when you called at the evidence of inquiry, read me the policy as adopted by the city of McComb. And as you read it to me, I think that it said, of course, city employees can go vote. And when they are in the voting booth, they vote to what they want to. The other activities like putting signs in the yard, making political donations, or putting a bumper sticker on your car. Again, the federal government's got a similar act, the Hatch Act, but you have a right, you have the right as the governing body of the city of Macomb to change that policy if you so see fit.
Does the policy of the city of Macomb cover a husband or wife who is not employed by the city of Macomb?
Well, it says, and if a man say he works for the city of Macomb, and the deed is in the name of that man and his wife, and it's their residence, he is, part owner of the property, is prohibited from placing a sign on his property or allowing a sign to be placed on his property by any other person, including his wife.
So the wife has no rights. Is that what you're saying?
She has the right to.
She can't have it both ways. Does she not have rights?
He's sitting on the phone. Let him speak, please.
I would not say that that's the case, but again, if wished by this board to amend and specify what can or cannot be done by city employees and change the policy as it is now written, Ms. Davis, was that correct that it does say that it can engage in no activities other than voting?
Voting and private conversation, I believe is that voting and then private conversation were the two exceptions. Selectman Brockman.
Our department heads, all department heads work for the city of Macomb 24/7.
The department heads, I guess, they're not on hourly rate, so, so they're not married, they're not going by the clock, so I guess you could consider that, they're paid a salary.
Okay.
Okay, so they're not on an hourly rate.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add an item.
There's been a motion and a second to amend the agenda to add one additional item concerning,
The same item, campaigning,
okay?
and that, you want that motion?
Well, not yet, but I just let the board know what they're voting on to amend the agenda to add one additional item. Selectmen, there's no selectmen via conference, so we'll vote voice. All in favor of amending the agenda to add one additional item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Close the vote.
Unanimous. And so, we can, any further discussion on your item, Selectman Hill?
I'm good to go.
Okay. Well then, what is your, let's deal with the motion, but let's deal with the agenda item that's before us. Have you got, how would you state it, Selectman Brock?
Let this motion states that, this rule 8.217, say that, Ms. Davis,
Yes, that's it.
does not apply to hourly employees. Only department heads.
Officers of the city, would that be, officers and department heads?
Yeah.
Officers and department heads?
What's the difference?
Well, this gentleman is an officer of the city, police chief, fire chief, we appoint those kind of people.
Yeah.
I think so let's just say officers and department heads.
Correct.
So there's been a motion, then I would move that we would consider amending now, is that policy number, Ms. Davis?
8.217,
Policy, this would be employee policy number, what is this?
personnel policy and procedure.
Personnel, policy, and procedure.
Number 8.217.
Number 8.217. To,
Not include.
to not include hourly employees of the city.
Correct.
So we could just say that, hourly employees of the city. Would you be okay with that, Mr. Davis, if we stated that the 8.217 would be amended to just exclude hourly employees of the city? You could administer a policy that such?
I would have to.
But you think that would fit in your manual if it were passed? Okay. Then I would move that we consider amending the personnel policy and procedure number 8.217 to state exclude hourly personnel from to exclude hourly personnel, period. Would that be your motion, Selectman Brock?
But keep in place department heads and officers of the city.
You just, to exclude hourly personnel, which means everybody else.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
Would that be your motion, Selectman Brock?
Yes.
That is your motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Selectman Hill for the second. Discussion on this docket item. Selectman Tullis.
When I worked for the Recreation Department, I didn't see a problem with this.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yes.
Selectman Brock?
All the issues we're talking about, I've heard before this campaign season, before qualifying time. We had more than anybody, department heads, suggesting or requesting that certain people run for office. We haven't seen that with hourly employees. I think they respected their job, they respected when they were on the clock. The only policy violation that I can remember I've seen has been with department heads.
All right. Anybody else? Selectman McKenzie.
I think this change puts employees' jobs in jeopardy, and political candidates are using these people as pawns in this, and it's only going to hurt them and help the candidate. And I think it's a dangerous path to go down, and, you know, as the attorney said, you go from the federal level all the way down, there's a reason for it, and this is not a good path.
Anybody else? Selectman Hill.
Even if if John Doe was to get elected and was not to get elected, and the mayor, not Brittany Rawlings, but the mayor sitting was to get re-elected, and that employee did not campaign for that mayor, that employee has every right to file an appeal and complaints against the person that's attacking them. If that mayor or elected official is attacking them, they don't need to be elected anyway. But these employees are citizens of this city, and they have a right to voice their opinion at any given time that they feel like it. But not at work. If they leave and clock out, they're free. They're free to do whatever they want to, and what they do on their off time should not dictate how they're treated on their job. This is so-called America. They're free to do whatever they want outside of their. If I don't have on my uniform, you can't not tell me what to do, as long as I'm not breaking the law. You shouldn't be able to treat me a certain way if I go against the grain of what you believe in outside of those hours. But it happens. It happens, and if it does happen, then that employee has every right to file an appeal. And as far as someone using someone as a pawn, I can only think about one person that has actually violated this policy, and that's the department head. The employees respect it, as Selectman Brock said. It's the people that's enforcing the policy that's having an issue.
Okay, well, board, and I just restated that it's, this is a political body. These, our employees work for a political body. And it, you know, it was put in place as a safe harbor for them, just to keep them from getting in a situation that might be. And, you know, I have, and it happens, board, that, you know, that these kind of things, people sometimes, when they get sitting in a boardroom like this and they're elected official, they do, it has happened. And I just, you know, so I would hope that our, that's the reason it's put in place, and it does happen, and it certainly can happen. All right, all in favor of this?
Mayor.
Selectman McKenzie, sir.
How long does it take for a policy like this to go in place? Is it immediate? Does it have to be advertised? What's the policy on that? How do you do that?
I would think that just as soon as this board adopts this policy, it would probably be put in place as soon as.
Mayor, I think that now that given the gravity of it, you know, I think the clerk's got to be direct to advertise the change, following that publication requirement.
We can certainly do that. Okay, Selectman Eubanks, sir.
I think that our attorney is wrong on that, and I don't think that it needs to be advertised. I think once this body makes this policy, we don't advertise on any other policy. And you said you think, or do you know for sure that this needs to be advertised?
I would say that the law requires.
What?
Let him answer the question. Say it again, Selectman Downey.
Well,
May and June. So they're within, they're 30 days out, more than 30 days out. We can figure that out when you get back home, but the question before us, Selectman.
Yes, Mr. Dowdy.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember, some months ago, we did an amendment to the ordinances, and I think replaced ordinance 1 through 5, dealing with the powers of the mayor that were not advertised in the newspaper?
And also about signage, that we changed.
And that, I don't remember being asked. I was asked at this time whether or not it needs to be published. My opinion is yes. And when I get back, I will copy that code ordinance and send it to each of them.
Okay, those particular amendments that we did were not published in the newspaper. They were not published.
Well,
And they're Mr. Dowdy, and they're still binding, and if they have to be published in the paper, well, they're illegal.
No, sir. What I remember what you just alluded to was an amendment to the special charter of the city of McComb. That was what was amended. And our charter does not require the publication of amendments to provisions of the special charter.
Now, those were not amendments to the charter, those were ordinances that we amended. The previous, that you all,
Maybe we're talking about a different thing.
Mr. Dowdy.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Dowdy, if,
Yeah.
if there was a change to the charter, we did not send that to the governor to change the charter, correct?
I can't hear you. What?
Pass that along, Mayor.
Please state.
You said there was a change to our charter, not the ordinance. We didn't send anything to be approved by the governor's office, correct?
Well, the policy on changes, to the federal charter involves the Attorney General's office. I don't remember whether we sent that or not. When I get back to my office, I'll go over file it.
Okay. Gentlemen, the question before us is changing the rule to exclude hourly employees from policy number 8.217. And the clerk will get with our city administrator and our personnel and figure out when this rule takes effect. But let's see if the rule is going to be changed. Are you ready to vote?
Ready.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
Ayes have it, motion carries. Motion 3-2.
I'd
All
like
right.
to make a motion to add one additional item to the agenda.
A motion to add one additional item to the agenda, which would be, what would the guys be considering?
To consider allocating $200,000 to Ward 4, Beartown, and Algiers Park for the finishing of those parks.
All right, we've got a motion to amend the agenda to add one additional item concerning Algiers and Beartown Parks. It's been motioned by Selectman Hill and seconded by Selectman Eubanks. All in favor of amending the agenda to add one additional item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
Ayes have it, motion carries.
Close the vote.
I've heard 3 in favor, I heard 1 opposed. Ayes have it.
3 and 1 opposed.
That's all I heard was 1.
Can you clarify how many board members we have?
We have 5.
Close the vote.
It was 3 in favor, 1 opposed.
That's 4.
That's 4. I have silence around this board all the time, so that's a problem.
Okay, where does that silence go, man?
Well, the motion passed.
I didn't vote against it, you got it?
4 to 1.
It was 3.
We're not voting on ignorance.
All right.
Sounds like it.
4 to 1.
The motion passed. It's 3 votes aye, 1 vote nay. That motion carries. Okay? There's 5 of us sitting around this table, but 3 voted yes and 1 voted nay. Okay. So we're consider this item, which would be, your motion would be to approve allocating $200,000.
Correct.
Funds would be appropriated from,
That's going to be talked about in just a second.
it needs to be in your motion.
I'll restate it, but I need discussion. We didn't even discuss it before we approved it.
Well, I can't have a discussion until I have a motion.
Well, it's going to come from the hotel motel tax.
All right, we move that there's a motion to appropriate $200,000 hotel motel tax collections receipts to parks in Beartown and Algiers
Correct.
in fiscal year 17-18.
Correct.
18-19, pardon me. We're in 18. That's the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Selectman Eubanks for the second. This is your motion, Selectman Hill. Would you like to discuss?
Yes, Ms. Janet Dillon.
Yes.
At this time, I do not have a budget in front of me. How much money do we have left from the hotel motel tax law? Are we zeroed out?
I don't think we're zeroed out, but just a ballpark figure on that is about around $80,000. It's just ballpark.
And so hotel motel tax collections take in about $25,000 per month, right?
It has, lately it's been brought up 17,000 to 18,000
All right.
for the last few months.
17 to 25 depending. And there's 350,000, 335 allocated to fields 3 and 4. Is that in that number or out of that number?
No, that's, we still have to have hotel motel collections in order to get the money for the lighting.
Okay.
We don't have all of the money for the lighting right now.
All right. So you're saying there's $80,000 in the hotel motel tax fund today. There's a project on the books to light Steel 3 and 4,
Right,
which is $337 and some change.
right.
And this would be $200, and you've got about $20,000 plus or minus coming in every month.
Right.
Okay, so
So
there
we're
you numbers.
collecting for the lights.
So if you went to the, we've gone to the bank before in the past and authorized borrowing up to like $600,000 to be repaid. I think that's what we did before. So something along those lines, and she could,
That could be done.
that could be done at a future date.
Is there any reason why this can come out of the general fund? That's the question.
Well, the general fund is, operates at a, your, expenses match your revenues, and so you would be creating a shortfall, in your general fund of whatever you expend. So, you know, we cannot, we don't spend more than we take in. So you'd be creating a shortfall in your general fund.
Mayor, can I speak very briefly on this?
City Attorney, yes, sir, go ahead.
There's a prohibition in the state law which states that outgoing owner, you are an outgoing owner, you are nearing the end of your term. You can be reelected, but there's a part of the state law that I don't have before me. I'm sorry that I'm there, but get it before. There's a window within which an outgoing voter, whether it be board of supervisors, any other municipal board, cannot allocate or change funding. I know we can't do it in the general fund, within the prescribed period prior to the end of your term.
What's that
That
window?
is the office department, so we'd be fully advised what we're within, maybe within that, sunset period of the term where you decide to appropriate then a large amount of money here at the end of your term. I don't have it before.
Board of Selectmen understand what the city attorney is saying.
When's that, go ahead, bro.
Mr. Dowdy,
Selectman Brown?
Yes, sir.
is that window 90 days?
I don't have it before me. That sounds right. Yes, sir.
And 90 days backing up from, the last day in office would be when?
City attorney, did you hear that? He was addressing you.
I heard it. I heard it.
That's all of June, all of May, all of April?
If it is 90, if that law requires 90 days, then it sounds like 90 days before the new board takes office, would be, the first of April, early April.
Okay. That being said, if that's the case, the appropriation would be in order.
I'd like to make an amendment to my motion.
What state your amendment? Amend the order?
Amendment would be that I would like to make a motion to allocate $200,000 towards Al Gills and Barrowtown Park. Splitting the funds revenue are, brought in with the, lighting, or for the lighting from the hotel motel tax. So every dollar that comes in, I want half for Algiers and Beartown Park, making up $200,000 for it. So both should be getting paid off at about the same time.
Okay, now, I would, I think if I'm following with the motion that you'd like to make, the city of McComb is under contract with a company, signed the contract, and they have been given their marching orders. They've had their pre-construction meeting, and they've ordered materials, and they're moving on that project. The board would have to, make sure that there were monies in the hotel motel tax fund to pay that vendor for his work that's under contract.
Obviously, it's not. It's only $80,000.
Right, and, and money comes in every month. I mean, what I'm saying is I can't, we'd have to go out, as I've mentioned, we'd have to go out and borrow money against anticipated revenues to put into the hotel motel tax fund to pay for said lighting project, to pay for Beartown improvements.
It's not like we can do, that. This motion can stand, we can borrow the money and pay for both of them.
I wouldn't disagree.
Okay, so, that's my motion.
Okay, well, that was the motion that was stated, that it would come from hotel motel tax funds, and that it would go to Beartown and Algiers Park improvements.
Yes.
What's that?
I would like for both of them to be paid dollar for dollar, on half. I mean, but they're both going to be paid off at the same time.
Well, they would both...
We can actually strike the amendment.
Yeah.
We can strike the amendment.
If the
I
board
would make
approves.
a motion to strike the amendment.
There wasn't motion nor second, so it was not there. So the motion before you is to make park improvements in Beartown and Algiers, spending up to $200,000 of hotel motel tax anticipated collections to pay for said improvements. And, anything else? Then all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
Votes 3-1, the motion does pass. Okay. I had, the motion was made by Selectman Hill, and it was seconded by Selectman Eubanks. That was not amended. There was never a second to his amendment. So, the motion did pass. All right, I'd entertain a motion to enter into executive session for matters of litigation, prospective litigation, or issuance of an appealable order, and for prospective purchase, sale, or lease of land. I'd like to include in this meeting, we will be having, I will be hanging up here City Attorney Dowdy and recalling you when we get into the board, to the City Administrator's office, and Ms. Jill Busby and Wes Nunnery from the Pike County EDD. So, who would make that motion? Selectman Eubanks. Well, who was second?
Second.
Selectman Tullis. All in favor, please say aye. The vote was unanimous. Opposed, nay. It's unanimous. We'll enter into executive session with Mr. Nunnery, Ms. Busby, Mr. Butler. Mr. Dowdy, I will hang you up, and I'll call you back when I get on in the boardroom in the City Administrator's office. Okay?
Yep.
I will hang you up. All right. What's that? I got it. You trust me?
No.